Hi, this is Gail Davis, and I'm coming to you to talk about goals. Do you have any goals that you've been trying to work on and you just don't seem to land it? You don't hit them spot on. Have you given up on your goals? Well, today I'm coming to you on behalf of the Endless Mountain Empowerment Summit for Women. And I'm going to be talking about goal setting, but I'm also going to be chunking it down into action steps and what's next. So I'm going to do a two-parter, but let me just give you a little bit background about myself. I'm the founder of the Endless Mountains Empowerment Summit with Connie Hitchcock. And several years ago, we had a vision to empower the women of our region in personal professional development. The background to that was I was a life coach, a conference speaker. I consider myself a kingdom connector. I love to connect up women with resources and tools for better living, to live the life you've been called to live. But I saw a need and I chunked it down. I wrote the goal, I chunked it down to action steps, and hence we have the Endless Mountains Empowerment Summit. So I'm going to give you some inside skinny on how all of that came to be. But let's just talk about getting out of your comfort zone. I know you're probably sitting on the edge of your seat thinking, oh no, Gail, why are you doing this to me? I don't want to get out of my comfort zone. The perfect Zooming and virtual meetings are perfect because I don't even have to wear makeup. I can wear my fuzzy slippers. Well, in fact, I even have my PJs on my bottoms, which I'm not going to show you. But it's time to get uncomfortable. When was the last time you were out of your comfort zone? Well, we're going to talk about that because setting goals may stretch you beyond your comfort zone. So let's just ask for a moment, how would you rate your goal setting? So, do you know what you really want for your family, for your career, for yourself? Think of it as personal and professional growth time or personal and professional development. Do you have any idea of what you would like? Don't worry, I didn't. In fact, going back 20 years ago, if you had asked me where I was going in life, I would say, well, I'm a mom, I'm working for a not-for-profit organization, and I'm just living very hand to mouth and paycheck to paycheck. And I really didn't have goals. I really didn't know the full concept of it. So it's okay wherever you are, because today I'm going to stretch you. Do you have a timeline of the where, whens, and hows? Do you have a timeline of what you would like to become, who you would like to be? Maybe it's educational goals. We'll talk more about that in a moment. Do you have a timeline of where and of how? I did not. Have you put it in writing? Now, if I were to flip this camera around, you would see my wall with all of my goals in writing. In fact, I'm in a new office right now, so it's not as pretty as I would like. I'm soon going to be painting it a blackboard so I can get all those fluorescent blackboard chalk markers and really make it visual. But do you have it in writing? And that's one of the things that oftentimes falls short. And have you shared these goals with an accountability partner? Do you even have an accountability partner? Well, do you even know what an accountability partner is and the benefits? Well, why do we fail at goal setting? And I'm the first to admit there's been many a time that I have fallen short. In fact, right now, if you were to ask me about my exercise program, I will be the first to admit it just got blown out of the water with COVID. So, why do we fail? Well, the top 5 reasons is a lack of a strong why or reason to pursue the goal. And we'll talk about that. A lack or loss of focus, of priorities. It's easy to be tossed to and fro. Lack of planning. Unsure of the steps to take. Am I speaking to anyone right now? Are you saying, yes, Gail, that's me, spot on. This is why I failed at my goal setting. And self-doubt, negative Nilly self-talk. You don't think you're worthy. You don't think you're able to. I had a brother who called me a pea brain. So after a while, I believed I was a pea brain. I was working for him. He was a former sergeant in the Marine Corps. And this was many years back. So I started to doubt if I was able and even capable of. Those are many of the reasons why we fail. But I just wanted to give you a little tidbit that if you'd like to discover more, send me an email and ask for my ebook on discovering your why. And that's free. That's my gift to you. So today we're going to cover the top 5 reasons. Well, a lack of a strong why, loss of focus, lack of planning, and we're not really going to talk about unsure of the steps or the self-talk, but I guess you could say we'll cover 3 of the top 5 reasons. So let's talk about your why. What motivates you? As I'm sitting in my office right now, as I'm talking to you, coming to you wherever you may be, I have a why that motivates me. I'm looking at my walls and I have a why, and it's helping others. It's making a difference. It's making an impact in the world. It's really paying it forward. That gives me such great joy. Another why that motivates me is my family and time and having the time to be there. Now, my story started many, many years ago, and some of you may know it, but because I'm an entrepreneur, because I was able to design my own career, I had the freedom and flexibility to spend time with my family. And that was so priceless that I was able to literally pick up from New York and go to Pennsylvania and be there with mom and dad. I was there with mom holding her hand when she passed. I was there with dad through hospice care, through thick and thin upon his passing. Again, that was priceless. That was one of my whys, that I needed a job that was flexible, that gave me time and freedom and flexibility. That was a why that motivated me. And another why that motivated me was I love to create. I love to let my creative juices flow. If I were in a job that was 9 to 5 that told me what to do, how to do, and when to do it, oh my goodness, I would be a basket case. So when it comes to goal setting, my whys are very clearly intrinsically within the goals because that's what motivates me. So for yourself, let me just ask you for a moment. Does a new home, a new car, does the ability to travel, does that motivate you? Be debt-free, spend time with family, be financially secure, retired. Does that motivate you? Is that the core of your why? Or do you want to love what you're doing and be involved with a cause and have greater job satisfaction and be your own boss? Well, again, these are all the whys that go into a goal. And why that's important is if I were to set a goal right now, I don't know, off the top of my head, travel does not really rock my boat, especially right now with COVID, to be honest. But if I were to set a goal of massive travel around the world, to the Great Wall of China, to India, well, to be honest, I don't like heat. I don't like crowds. I like to enjoy myself with gardens and with forests and with greenery. That's not going to motivate me. So as you're writing down your goals, think about that. What rocks your boat? Now, this is the sheet that is in front of you is a chart that I use many times when I'm doing my vision boarding workshops. And if you click on the link below, you'll be able to download your own version of this. But I have my teams of ladies when I'm doing my workshops to take a few minutes and just to reflect on what the ideal life would be for them, whether it be their personal life, their family, their relationships, their health, their wealth, their finances. Along with that, with the personal life, are there areas that they need to stretch themselves and be uncomfortable in? How about career? Is there any educational goals there? What would help you achieve your dream life? Professional development. Many times it's awards. For me, several years ago, I was motivated with Toastmasters International. They have a program called Distinguished Toastmasters. I so wanted to achieve that level. So I pursued it and I chunked it down into doable bite-sized portions. So I knew exactly month by month by month what I needed to do to achieve it. Hence, that's why we have the Empowerment Summit today, because one of the goals with that was I needed to develop into the leader, delegating, developing a mission plan. We became a not-for-profit 501c3. That was a goal of mine. It was part of the career as I started to envision what my ideal life would look like or should look like or I would like to look like. What about relaxation and leisure? Travel or hobbies? For me, hobbies, I love my gardening. You can see plants around me. In the move recently from Pennsylvania to Indiana, many of my plants died, but I'm meeting new people, taking cuttings, having fun with this. This is a part of who I am. And then your impact, service to the community and the world, whether it be church, ministry, your passion, helping the homeless. So this is a chart, a sheet, a reflection exercise to really get your creative juices flowing. I talk about marinating. I don't know if we have any cooks out there, but you marinate different dishes or meats or vegetables or seasoning for a while. And sometimes dishes are better the second day. Let this marinate. Let it really resonate. Let it really start to become part of your core being. Have this chart with you daily for the next few days. And also, ladies, I would love to see what you come up with. So this can help you as your goal setting. So you might have heard before SMART goals. SMART goals: specific, measurable, obtainable, relevant, timely, or time bound. When you have a goal, instead of just saying, hey, I want to lose weight, well, that's a great goal, but be specific. How many pounds? Measurable, specific with that. Attainable. Is it realistic, really? Relevant to you? Well, if someone is a size 2, they don't need to lose weight. And time bound, having a time schedule to it. We're not going to cover SMART goals today, but what we are going to cover is how to really start to writing this out. So I have a chart in front of you. Again, you can click and download this goal setting chart. I like to chunk my goals down to be specific what the goal is, the date to achieve it. That's part of the SMART goals. But something I like to do is I take it a step further. What are any of the obstacles or excuses or the negative Nilly self-talks that can hinder your progress, that can step in your way? Well, recently we've had COVID, we've had a pandemic. That's a major obstacle. Last year, when we encountered COVID for the first time with the pandemic back in March 2020, Empowerment Summit was scheduled to take place, and it was going to take place as an on-site event. We were hoping for 300 women to attend it. Well, a major obstacle was the schools were locked down. We were put in curfew, in quarantine. Well, what was a solution to that? Well, we had a goal of having an Empowerment Summit. We had a date that we knew it had to happen. The obstacle that hit was COVID. The solution was we brought it to you virtually. 21 days of virtual empowerment. Now, something I like to do is reflect on the benefits and blessings. If I achieve this goal, what's going to happen? How is my life going to be different? And the reason I like to do this is I homeschooled my 3 kids, and each child learned a different way. My son was very auditory, hence he is an opera singer, very auditory. My middle daughter was very kinesthetic. She had to touch, she had to feel. Well, she became a physical education teacher, a sports educator, and now she has hands-on youth ministry. My youngest, well, she could learn anyway by reading, by hearing, but each child performed so differently. So what I like to do is really bring in all the sensory perceptions. What will the benefits or blessings be? Now, this may sound a little odd to people, but I like to just close my eyes and see it, to visualize it. What could be a benefit of holding the Endless Mountains Empowerment Summit virtually? Well, I'm seeing all of the women attending. I'm seeing them in the comforts of their own home. I'm seeing them really growing. Yes, them meaning you, really growing, deepening your self-talk, deepening your self-growth, deepening your personal and professional development. I'm feeling it, I'm smelling it, I'm tasting it, I'm seeing it, and it's empowering me. So action steps. Well, last year we had numerous action steps, how we were going to bring the Empowerment Summit to you virtually. And this is very important, to really chunk it down, to be specific, to chunk it down into step by step. One thing I learned with Toastmasters International was how to delegate. Now, I'll be honest, I hate delegating. I really do, because it's so much easier for me to do it myself instead of imposing on someone, explaining how to do it. And then what happens if you don't do it the way that I want it to be? Well, you know what? It's taught me how to express myself, how to communicate my expectations. So action steps, we had to really chunk it down to numerous action steps, bringing a team together. And that leads me to the last column. Who can help? It's so difficult for me to ask for help. I like to do it myself, but who can help? Who can help, whether it be an accountability partner? When I was working on my DTM through Toastmasters, I had a mentor team, accountability partners that I had to go to and explain what I was doing, how I was doing it, and get feedback. Accountability partners. Maybe there's someone who has a skill set above and beyond yours. Who can help you? Recently, I had some computer glitches, so I had to go to a local tech place to have my computer serviced. Likewise, I've had some other glitches, so I put it out there on Facebook land and asked for help. But who can help? Sisters, don't be afraid to ask for help, because it's really in pulling together the team that you have strength to do this. You could do this. And this is really the principle of my goal setting. I chunk it down, the date to be achieved, the obstacles, my excuses. I look at some of the solutions. I look at the benefits and blessings, the action steps of what I'm going to do specifically, step by step, and who can I engage to help. So if you were going on a vacation, how much time would you spend planning a vacation? Now, I'm going to give you an inside skinny. My husband and I, we went on our honeymoon, oh my goodness, what is it, 33 years ago. His sister was a travel agent. So it was really great because she was able to book the hotels, book the flights, and my husband, Tom, spent numerous time planning this vacation. But the other thing with it is at one point he wanted to be a little bit loosey-goosey and flexible. And we flew into Portland, Oregon. But if anybody knows, Portland has the Rose Festival in June. And we flew in, we had a rental car, and then he thought we would just find a motel or hotel for the night and then head on up to Victoria, British Columbia. But it was during the Rose Festival. So we had a hard time finding a hotel. We finally did, but we spent a lot of time planning this honeymoon, this vacation. But if you spend so much time planning a vacation, how come our goal setting is just very loosey-goosey, lackadaisical, haphazard? I'm speaking to myself, I know. So think of this as creating action steps. Think of this vacation when you're hitting your action steps. So spend the same time with your goals as you would a vacation. And we're going to be talking about in part 2, action steps for success. But the other thing I wanted to say to you is, can you see it? Can you see your goals? Can you sit there and really explain to me, whether it be your personal, your professional, your family, your health, your wealth, your finances, can you see your goals coming to fruition? If we can't, you know what? It's not going to happen. You have to see it. And I'm going to take a break now, let you really mull over what I've shared, and we'll be back with part 2. So thank you for tuning in, and log on for part 2.